Like it or not, the last day of your cruise is going to come, but there are some things that you can do to make it better and make sure that you end your cruise off right. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now let's face it, the last day of your cruise is never going to feel as good as the first day of your cruise, right? It is a little bit of a letdown to wake up that last morning knowing it is the last day of your cruise vacation. However, there's still an entire day to do amazing things. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the things that you really want to do on your last day to make sure that your cruise ends off really as good as it can. At the same time, I am going to share a couple of tips to make sure you don't have any near disasters, because we wouldn't want that to happen. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I have about 12 different things that you want to make sure that you do on the last day of your cruise. And I do have one bonus item that will just really be helpful for the disembarkation day. So to start off with, let's tackle packing. That personally is my least favorite part of ending a cruise. So something that I've started to do on recent cruises is I do a little bit of pre-packing up before the end of my cruise. Now, packing cubes truly do help with this, but basically what I do is when I get to my last formal night or my last evening chic night, whatever it is, I know I can pack up the suits and any of that formal wear, even any of the shoes that I might have brought for that. So that sort of gets put away, or at least put aside. As well, as I go along on the cruise, I do put away some of the items that I just know I'm not going to be wearing again. Maybe they are some of the things that I've worn in some of the cruise ports of call. Maybe there are some dirty items, like for instance, some items that have ended up in our laundry. I can start packing those things up. So certainly by the second to last day before the end of the cruise, I probably do pack up about at least half or so of my items, and it does make that last day packing so much easier. Now, in terms of your final packing up, there's no right or wrong on this, but some people say they like to do their packing up first thing in the morning, get it over with. Other people say they prefer to come back to their cabin at the end of the day and do their packing up before dinner. There's no real right or wrong on this. The only thing that you do have to remember is if you decide to do traditional disembarkation, meaning putting your luggage outside of your cabin door at the end of the night on the last day of your cruise, then you do have to put your luggage out usually by about 10 p.m. So that's kind of your deadline. Now, I have to say, on my last cruise, we did do our packing up right before dinner because I did pre-pack already, and that worked perfectly for me. Number 2, get out early, start your last day, do all of those things that you really wanted to do that you either didn't have a chance to do or that you just really want to make sure you do before the end of your vacation. Now, most of the time, your last day of your cruise is going to be a sea day. If this is a warm weather cruise, make sure that you get out onto that pool deck early. You will notice that those deck chairs really will fill up even earlier than usual during this last day of your cruise. Now, if you really want to make the most of the last day on your cruise, consider taking a look at the cruise planner before you go to bed the night before the last day of the cruise. You're going to see tons of activities. This is a full day. So whether or not you want to take advantage of some of the things that are available to do on the cruise, or you just want to participate in some of the dancing next to the pool, or even maybe going inside of the cruise ship if you've had too much sun, and maybe going to the art auction, those are all things that you can do and that you can plan for. Number 3, disembarkation luggage tags. Now, I have a little bit of a confession to make. If I get my luggage tags to disembark the cruise ship too early, well, what I consider too early, like 3 or 4 days before the end of the cruise, I just refuse to look at them. I just don't, because I don't want to even think about the last day of the cruise. So oftentimes what happens is the day before the last day of the cruise, I do take a look, and then I usually realize that they gave me a time that I don't really want. Now, I have to say, on my last cruise, which was on Celebrity, I was very happy to see that I only got my luggage tags, I think it was 2 days before the end of the cruise. So that was fine. But basically, take a look at the time that you've been assigned. Now, we were actually assigned the very last disembarkation time of the cruise ship, and we didn't want to get off the last because we were driving home. We had about a 6-hour drive. So what my husband did is he just brought the luggage tags down to guest services, and they did change them for him. And instead we were able to get one of the first times off the cruise ship. So that is something that you should know. No matter what time they do give you, if that time doesn't suit you, whether you have a flight or you're driving home and you have just whatever reason, you can go and switch those up at guest services. Now, please let me know in your case if you've ever switched up the luggage tags, or even if you prefer to get off early, or if you prefer to stay on as long as you can on the cruise ship and get off one of the last people on disembarkation day. Number 4, prepare any tips or even any extra tips for any special crew members. So maybe you like to give your tips in cash to the crew members, or maybe you've prepaid your tips, or your tips were included in your cruise, but you do want to give a little something extra to your waiter, to your assistant waiter, to your cabin attendant. So make sure that you do prepare that amount of money in advance. It's a nice idea to actually even have a card that you maybe write out a little note to that crew member. It is something a little bit special, but do make sure that you have that ready. And oftentimes what people do is don't wait until the last morning of the cruise. It is hard to even see your cruise cabin attendant that morning. They are so busy. So do that the last night of the cruise, usually before dinner or even just after dinner, but around that time on the last evening of your cruise. If you are interested in a cruise disembarkation checklist, as well as cruise packing list and other forms just to help you to prepare for your cruise, I do have all of that as part of the Ultimate Cruise Planner. Now, the Ultimate Cruise Planner is a 47-page downloadable printable cruise planner that you can print off the pages that you need for your cruise for as many cruises as you do go on. Now, I will leave the information linked down below this video in the description in case you do want to check that out. Number 5. Now, number 5 is actually my favorite thing to do on the last day of my cruise, because it helps me to feel like maybe it's not my last day of my cruise, but in a way it's sort of the first day of planning my future cruise. And it does have 2 parts, this one, but it is booking a future cruise while I'm on board. But basically what I do, and I suggest that you do because it kind of does help to pass the time on that last day of the cruise and really kind of get you dreaming a little bit, is I pick up some actual physical brochures or flyers of future cruise itineraries, so I can kind of dream a little bit. Do I want to do Alaska? Do I want to do the Mediterranean? Do I want to do the Caribbean, Bermuda? Wherever you might want to go, just take a look at some of those different flyers, the different ships, the different things, and you can start dreaming a little bit. Now, at the same time, in terms of putting a future cruise deposit on a future booking, many times what you can do is you can put a small deposit, so for instance about $100 per person on a future cruise. Now, you could do this either by meeting with a future cruise consultant. If you do want to do this, make sure that you make an appointment. However, many cruise lines now allow you to simply fill out the information on a form and put that right into a little mailbox, and then they will just charge your account. And if you don't want to choose that specific cruise, many times you can basically put a future cruise deposit on an open booking. And that's what I did on my last celebrity cruise. I actually booked 2 cruises, but I will do my shopping once I get home. And of course, there's a benefit to this. So in most cases, when you book your future cruise on board the cruise that you're on, even if it's an open booking, you will get an additional onboard credit for a future cruise. So in my case, I was on a celebrity cruise, and on my next cruise, I will get either $100, $150, $200 onboard credit, or even more, depending on the cabin that I book and the length of my cruise. Number 6, consider having lunch in the main dining room on the last day of your cruise. Now, this is especially nice if your whole cruise, maybe you've been on the go for different shore excursions and eating at the buffet. Well, the main dining room is open on most cruise lines on sea days, and this could be a really nice thing to do. Personally, we like to do this on the last day of our cruise. We've done it on a few cruises, and we've really enjoyed just sitting down, taking a bit of a break, even reminiscing about the amazing time, the memories we've had on this cruise. Number 7, check your account. Now, make sure that you don't wait till the end of the day on your last day of your cruise to check your account, because if you do have any discrepancies, you're going to have to go down to guest services. There will be a line, but it's still better than waiting till the next morning, or even worse, is waiting till you get home. That is very hard to resolve once you get home. Now, I have something else to share with you. if you are on a cruise ship where you have to return your towels, where they've basically taken your room number, and if you don't return them, you're going to be charged like $25 or so. This was the case on our Royal Caribbean cruise that we did on the Oasis of the Seas a little while ago. Then you do want to make sure, just go over, well, you could probably check on your account, but what we did is we actually went over to the towel station and we just made sure that there was nothing left on our account, that basically everything was handed in, just to make sure that we didn't have, after the fact, any extra charges for those towels. And at $25 a towel, that could really add up. Number 8, take care of any of your last minute shopping, any of your last minute purchases, souvenirs, that kind of thing. Now, on some cruise ships, you're actually going to have a little bit of a liquidation sale on the last day of your cruise and some different specials. So take a look at that if you do enjoy shopping. Maybe there was a souvenir or a t-shirt that you thought of buying that you didn't buy yet and that you would enjoy having. So make sure that you do that shopping. Take a look at what time the shops close, because they will still close probably at like 9 p.m. that night. So don't save them until after dinner. Make sure that you do make those purchases earlier in the day, or even right after dinner or right before dinner. Number 9, photos. Now, honestly, photos are memories. So whether you buy the cruise ship photos, those professional photos that are taken from the cruise line, make sure that you buy them as early in the day as possible to avoid those big lines that might happen as the evening approaches, and don't wait until the last morning. So make sure to buy those. But even if you're not buying those professional photos, make sure that you do take those photos that will be future memories. So maybe it's your family cruise and you want a photo of your family. You haven't taken that many photos. Take a photo on the last night of your cruise. Maybe you've met some new friends. Take a photo together with your new friends. Or maybe you've met some crew members that you want to remember. Take a photo of them. Cash out at the casino. Now, personally, I don't play at the casino, but I have heard this from other people. It is something very important. If you do play at the casino, make sure that you cash out before you go to bed. Now, I have 3 more tips, and one of them is a little bit of a bonus. So make sure, first of all, that you do have a disembarkation outfit planned. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but you do want to make sure that you've left out clothing for the morning of your cruise, and of course some sleepwear for the night as well, your toiletries, your medication, your travel documents. So make sure all of that does not get packed in your suitcase. Now, something else to consider is whether you want to do traditional disembarkation or self-disembarkation. Now, recently I've changed my mind on this a little bit. I was doing self-disembarkation for a little while, and I've now gone back to traditional disembarkation. I just find it much easier. What we do is we leave our luggage out. This way the crew members take care of it. It is waiting for us when we do disembark from the cruise ship. I find them much more organized than they were in the past. And this way I don't have to contend with bringing my luggage all through the ship, down the stairs maybe. And especially as so many more people do self-disembarkation, I've actually found traditional disembarkation to be much quicker. Please let me know your own thoughts on that. If you do self-disembarkation, traditional disembarkation, and what has your experience been on that? So here's the bonus, and it is to plan for your disembarkation day breakfast. So you know that you want to set your alarm, get up on time, but something that I like to do is either order room service if it's available, especially if it's available free on the cruise, or otherwise is just to go down to the coffee shop. So whether it's the International Cafe, whether it's Cafe Al Baccio, and just get some coffee and some pastries to go and bring that up to my cabin. This way, as I am getting ready to disembark the cruise ship, I just don't even have to deal with the buffet or anywhere else on the cruise ship, and I can just contend with basically getting myself off the cruise ship and my family. I just find it makes things so much easier. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What are the things that you do on the last day of your cruise to make it a little bit better? If there's anything that I didn't think of, please let me know down in the description below. And I am going to leave as well the information about the Ultimate Cruise Planner in case you do want to check that out down below in the description of this video. Now, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I would love to have you here within the Life Well Cruise community. Bye for now, and happy cruising.